the right sort of cushions, the right sort of chair, the right sort of bed, if you want to lie down. This is something I've learned over the years, is that really paying attention to how we position our body can make a big difference to the quality of our meditation. I think many of us have got habits of putting up with perhaps a chair that isn't quite right when there's a slightly better chair just in the next room. And so if that's you, then I would encourage you to go and get the better chair. So we've got what we need so that we can be as comfortable as possible. Good. So big welcome to everybody, and thank you again for coming and practicing with one another in this session, which is just such a delight to have this shared time together, dropping into our bodies, our hearts, our minds, and this shared human experience. Today, it's all over the news that the first people got the first vaccine, which is obviously amazing. And we've still got many more months to go of the hardship of this virus. So learning, continuing to work with our minds, continuing to work with developing strength and courage and the ability to stay present, I think is very, very important. The only moment that we can know is this moment. So tonight what we're going to do is a breathing anchor meditation practice. And this is a excuse me. This is a meditation practice where we rest in the body inside breathing, and we use that as an anchor point for the mind. Where every time we notice that the mind has rushed off into thoughts, worry, rumination, memories, in the noticing, that's a moment of awareness and it's a moment of choice, and we choose to come back to the breathing in the body. So it's an anchor in the sense that it's a place that we can keep drawing our awareness back to as a place of stability, being centered. If you think about a literal anchor, you have a boat on the surface of the sea, and if it wasn't anchored, it would just be moving about all over the place. If it was a rough sea, it would be tossed about all over the place, possibly even capsize. But if you've got the anchor, it's embedded in the sea floor, and there's the rope. So the boat might move around, but the stability is provided by the anchor down on the sea floor. So it's a little bit like breathing low in the body is an anchor. The mind will still move around, but you've got this point of anchoring to keep calling the mind back to. So I think that's a really wonderful analogy for meditation, using the breathing anchor. Okay, so I'll lead the practice, of course, but there'll probably be longer periods of space tonight. So we've all been meditating. Most of us have been meditating for lots of weeks together. So I thought tonight it would be nice to have something a little bit more spacious. If it's your first week, then don't worry. It'll be clear what we're doing, because I'll give you enough instructions to keep you on track. And I've got a really beautiful, beautiful poem to begin. And I'll read it out, and then I'll make a few comments, and then I'll read it again. I first heard this on the radio, actually. There was somebody on the news quoting this poem or talking about this poem. And it's called The Ink Dark Moon by Izumi Shikibu. Izumi Shikibu. It's very short. Although the wind blows terribly here, the moonlight also leaks between the roof planks of this ruined house. Although the wind blows terribly here, the moonlight also leaks between the roof planks of this ruined house. What I love about this poem is that it allows for the fact that the wind is blowing terribly. And for many of us, the wind is blowing terribly in the world around us and perhaps in our own lives. But in a way, because it's a ruined house with leaf planks, with roof planks that don't fit tightly together, the moon is able to leak in. If it was a beautiful, solidly built house, the moonlight wouldn't get in. But because it's imperfect, because it uses the word ruined, which is very interesting, but because it's flawed, as it were, that's why the moonlight can get in. And it's a famous song by Leonard Cohen where he says, there is a crack in everything, and that's how the light gets in. There is a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. So if we're feeling imperfect, if we're feeling flawed, if we feel there's a terrible wind blowing, if we feel that this body is ruined, perhaps, I mean, that's a strong word, but it's an interesting word. My body can feel like that sometimes. It's because of that the moonlight can leak between the roof planks. It's because of that the light can get in. So let's rest exactly how we are, with our imperfections, with our difficulties, whatever they are, with the world raging about us. And let's find some peace, some stability and anchor, and let the moonlight, let the light just very, very gently fall into our hearts as we sit here. Okay. So we set up our posture, and then I'll read the poem one more time and go into the practice. So let's establish our position in the meditation. And let's see if we can give the body up to the floor, the bed, the chair, and up to gravity. And what I always like to do is take a deep breath in, and then on the out breath, settle and arrive and rest into this position. Let's have a sense of the stability of the body. And let's allow our awareness to drop deep inside the body. Feeling the contact between the body and the surface it's resting upon. Feeling into those sensations if sensations are present, or else having a sense of the body resting in some other way. And let's let the legs fall away from the hips and to rest down into gravity. Feeling contact between whatever part of the legs are in contact with the floor. Feeling that contact, or the bed. Might be the feet. If you're lying down, it might be the whole legs. If you're kneeling, it might be the knees. Let's allow ourselves to rest down into that contact, not collapsing, but yielding. Coming into the whole torso. Sometimes it can be quite nice if we allow the weight to settle down through the buttocks. So the weight's dropping down, and then there can be a sense of lightness rising up. It's almost like if we let go of tension, the gripping onto the body, and we allow the body to be held, then a sense of lightness can quite naturally arise in the body. Allowing breathing to express itself in the whole torso, in the front and the whole back of the body, the sides of the body. Massaging the organs inside the body. And a rhythm on the surface of the torso. And expanding on the in-breath, subsiding on the out-breath in all directions. Letting the shoulders fall away from the midline of the body on either side, and allowing the arms to fall out of the shoulders and have the hands supported. So we don't have to hold on to the arms with any muscular effort. Letting the hands be soft. Coming up through the neck and into the head. So if we're sitting, let's check the position of the head. See if we can have it poised lightly on top of the neck. Release through the base of the skull and yet openness in the throat. The chin tucked in just a tiny bit. If you're lying down, see if you can give the weight of the head up fully to the cushion or the pillow. So again, you're not gripping onto the head with any effort, just allowing it to be held. Letting the face be soft and open. And broadening our awareness to be aware of the whole body, legs, torso, arms, head, face. If you've got pain or discomfort, check that you're including it in your awareness, not shutting it out, not pushing it away. But getting a sense how it's not the only thing in the body and the mind and the heart. So holding it lightly with perspective. And just as the breathing is flowing, seeing if we can get a sense of how sensations are flowing, thoughts are flowing, and emotions are flowing. So The whole experience becomes more like a river than a static, hard object. Now let's gather our awareness around breathing deep in the body. And let's use this as an anchor for our awareness. Resting inside the sensations and movements of breathing. Turning our attention to our thoughts, thoughts flowing through the mind. Remembering that meditation is not about suppressing thinking. It's normal for our minds to think. But meditation is about getting some space around our thoughts so we're not so identified with them and fused to them. So perhaps we can see thoughts like clouds passing across the blue sky of awareness. And every time we notice we're lost in thinking, we invite our awareness back to rest inside breathing, inside the body, again and again and again. See if the experience of breathing can fill your awareness so there's less room to get lost in thinking. What's happening now? Just catching the mind, even if it's wandered far, far away, without any judgment, and making a choice to choose presence and embodiment, coming back to our breathing anchor. Maybe the moonlight can pour into our hearts, into our bodies, into our minds. Soft, illuminating, and gentle. As we begin to near the end of this session, let's have a few moments where we let go of any effort whatsoever and we simply rest and absorb and assimilate. And beginning to bring the practice to a close. Bring a little bit of movement into the body when you're ready. Keeping the breathing soft, seeing if we can carry this feeling of stillness, being a little bit more centered perhaps with us. Moving however we want to. Good. So I wish you all the best as you take this into your evening, your day, depending on where you are. Lovely to see you all again. And that's a very good practice, just to keep coming back to the breathing anchor. And we can do that anytime. You can do it in the supermarket queue. You can do it, anytime during the day. Just drop back down into the breath in the body. As I was saying earlier on, it kind of fills your awareness, and then there's less space left over for the mind to get so caught up with things. Yeah. Okay, good. So we'll see you all next week. And I know what I was going to say. I'm leading a meditation on Thursday night on Insight Timer, which is another app. Insight Timer Live. So I'm putting the link in the box, and then if you want to, you could join me there, which will be nice. And that's going to be body like a mountain, heart like the ocean, mind like the sky. So similar kind of practice to what we did tonight. Lovely. So we'll see you all next week, and go well and take care and look after yourselves wherever you are. And if you want to unmute yourselves to say goodbye, that's always nice.
Bye, Vidyamala. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye. Thanks. Bye.
Bye, Vidyamala. Thank you.
Brilliant.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.
Love
Bye.
Vidyamala.
Oh yes, I'll put the poem over in the community of practice. Yeah.
It was very moving.
Yeah.